mean, what is it for? The maths tutor, you mean? Drop me what's message. I'll let you know about that. Others, I can do these two questions. You'll have 5 minutes. Okay. So, what do you call? At 6:15, I'm going to discuss both of these questions. I'll 6:15 you have time. Do both of these questions. Let me check tomorrow. Nope, it's proper. Once you're done, raise your hands, the participant list. Those who are done. Okay, not bad. Majority of you are done. Okay, right. Perfect. I guess we can now start. It's 6:15. Again, these are compulsory question, and this comes on a part two question number one. So yeah, it's a comparatively you do it within average around 2 minutes. So let's see how you can do this question. Right. Consider the following pseudocode segment with blank spaces labeled A to C. So there is three layer blank spaces, it seems. The first blank space is A, second blank space is B, and the third blank space is C. Which calculates and displays the sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. I always told you whenever you get a programming question, first of all, check what is the purpose of the program. So here they have mentioned the purpose of the program is to do what? To calculate and display what? The sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. Without knowing the purpose of a program, will you be able to complete the program or will you be able to create a program? Hmm? Without knowing the problem, will you be able to give a solution? No. So always you should know a problem in order to give the solution. So always when you get a question, figure out the problem statement first. Right. Write down suitable expression for A, B, and C. Fine. Now let's fill in the blanks now. Now, first of all, once you identify the problem, before you start going for the program, visualize how the output is going to be. Now you imagine, okay, if I'm going to do this manually, how will I do? Now they are saying the sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. Now, if you take 0 and 10, between 0 and 10, the numbers we have are 0, between 0 and 10, the numbers we have are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Are we going to add all of these numbers together? No. We are going to add what kind of numbers? Only the odd numbers. Exactly. So in our case, we are going to add the number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. These are the numbers we are going to add. These are numbers we are going to add. Now, if you're going to go through this program, you can see initially they have mentioned sum equals 0. Okay. By looking at this, we can get an idea. Okay, that sum of numbers is going to be stored inside the sum variable. So by looking at this, I can get an idea, right? The sum variable is going to be used to store the sum of numbers, sum of odd numbers, basically. Then we have a num equals 1. Okay. And then I have a while loop, and at the end of the after the while loop, I'm going to display sum. Now I can get an idea. Okay, how can I, if I'm going to calculate this manually, how will I calculate an idea I can get? If you can notice something like this, if I'm going to iterate through all of these values, okay, that means if I'm going to go through all of these values one by one, that means number one, number two, number three, number four. If I'm going to go all through all, I mean throughout all of these values one by one, then before I add that to the sum variable, before I add that to the sum variable, I have to check something. I have to check if the number is what? If the number is Zaid, no. Zaid, this is not Pascal, this is pseudocode. Not less than 10. I will check something else. Are that correct? I will, no, for example, I'm saying, now don't look at the program, just saying, imagine if I'm going to go through each and every value, that means I'm going to go through this value, this value, this value, I'm going to go through each and every value. Before I add that value to the sum variable, I have to check something. Is it what? Is it? Exactly. I have to go and check, is that number odd or even? Looking at this program, okay, if you look at this while loop, does it look like you're going to check is it odd? Like, is there any selection statement you can see here? Because now without if statement, you can't see is it odd or even. No. How do you check if it's odd? You may put if num mod 2 equals 0. Laterally, you check if it's odd. Normally, sorry, if num mod 2 equals 1. That's how you check if it's even, odd, no. Okay, to check odd or even, you are using mod operator or something like that. But if you look at this while loop, inside the while loop, does it look like anything like you're going to check? Is there anything like a checking whether the number is odd? No, if you look at the while loop, inside you can't see anything, they're going to check. Now you have to get an idea. Okay, without checking if the number is odd or even, is there any possibilities we could do? Yes, there is a possibility. That is, we know the first number is 1. See, there is a variable called num, and you have to say num equals 1. Instead of going through each and every value, okay, instead of going through each and every value, if we skip one value and go, for example, if you go to the first value, then skip and go for the next value, skip and go for the next value, skip and go for the next value, skip and go for the next value. If we go like this, are we always getting an odd number? If I go in this pattern, see, there's a pattern, huh? If I go in this pattern, am I always getting the odd number? Yes, I'm always getting the odd number. Now, using this idea, let's create this program. So for the while loop, what I'm going to do is while I is less than 10. For A, I'm going to say while I is less than 10 because I want to go through each of the values of I. Now I is the value. I is here. You can see num. So not I, num. My bad. Not I, num. While num is less than 10. Because num is a variable that's storing all of these values. That's number one, number two. That idea is going to be there in num variable. So first of all, I'm going to check is the value of num less than 10 because why the question says sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. So it should be these values should be basically less than 10. That's why I put while num is less than 10. And then I'm going to say sum for B. I'm saying that the value of sum has to be updated. The first value is obviously going to be an odd number because we are starting with 1. Okay. So I'm saying to update the value of sum variable. Okay. That is sum is equal to sum plus num. That means I'm saying the new value of sum. So when you have a statement like this, always keep in mind when you see a statement like this, sum equals sum plus num. What you mean by this is the new value of sum is going to be, okay, the new value of sum is going to be the current value of sum plus num. Okay, and the current latest value of num as well. That's how what the meaning of this is going to be. Okay, can't we write num is less than or equal to 10? It is not suitable, not necessary. You don't have to write. If you can put less than or equal to 9, less than or equal to 10 is not, I mean, you can have different variations, but that is not necessary. Even I can mention less than 11 as well, but I'm just mentioning the most suitable one. But yeah, you can have variations as well. You're correct. Okay. So I'm going to check here sum equals sum plus num. That means I'm going to add the value of this num. That is basically, I'm going to add the number 1 to the sum variable. Okay. Then I'm saying num equals C. Okay. Now I want to update the value of num. How am I going to update the value of num? Should I say num equals num plus 1 or num equals num plus 2? If I want to go, if I'm no, if look based on this program, based on what I discussed a while ago, tell me, should I add the statement here as num equals num plus 1 or num plus 2? Exactly. Num is going to be equal to num plus 2. So if I say num equals num plus 2, now let me show you how this program is going to function. Okay, based on these statements, let me show you how this program is going to function. Right. So in this program, you might have noticed there is a variable called sum. There is a variable called num. And there's a variable called only sum and num. Then there's a condition called while num is less than 10. Again, I wrote num is less than 10. Instead of less than 10, you could write, okay, instead of less than 10, you could write these answers as well. You can write less than or equal to 9. You can write less than or equal to 10 as well. You can write less than 11 as well. Okay. These are other possible answers you can write for them. Okay. You can don't write less than 12 is wrong. Less than or equal to 11 is also wrong. Apart from num is less than 10, these answers are also possible for A. Okay. These are alternate answers again. I'm going to go with num is less than 10 anyways. So less than 10 and this program has an output as well. Okay. So let me draw all the dry run and show you how this program will actually function. So to draw the dry run, we have to go through the whole program from the top to bottom. If I'm going to go to the program, the first instruction I have is sum equals 0. So under sum, I'm going to write the value as 0. Then I have num equals 1. So I'm going to write the num as 1. Then while A, so my A was what? Num is less than 10. Do. So while num is less than 10, so I'm going to go and check is num less than 10. Okay, look at my dry run and tell me at the moment, is the value of num less than 10? Yes or no? Yes, num is less than 10. 1 is less than 10. No? So I'm going to say here true. While loop, if the condition is true, will it continue or will it stop? It's going to continue. Less than or equal to 10 means it won't add the numbers in between. It will. I mean, I'm saying these are possible answers. Okay, apart, I mean, logically, if you're saying for the program to function, I mean, for the given input, are we getting expected output? Those are possible answers now. But that's why I said the most suitable answer is num is less than 10. That's just a condition to control this ones. Anyways, so that's going to be true. So because it is less than 10, because num is less than 10, I'm going to execute the instruction inside. Okay. Inside I have sum equals b. B is what? Sum plus num. So sum equals sum plus num. That means I'm saying update the value of sum to sum plus num. Now sum is 0, num is 1. So based on that, tell me what will be the new value of sum. Exactly. It's going to be 0 plus 1, which is how much? Yes, 0 plus 1, that is 1. 0 plus 1, that is going to be 1. Then I'm going for the next instruction. The next instruction is going to be num equals c. C is what? Num plus 2. Num equals num plus 2. So when I say num equals num plus 2, what will be the new value of num? Exactly. So when I say num equals num plus 2, what I mean by this is the value of num is going to be, the new value of num is going to be the current value of num. That's 1 plus 2. And based on that, we can say the new value of num is how much? It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3. Up to the all of you are clear. Up to here, all of you are clear. Some of you are asking, why didn't some of you are asking why did this? Why didn't I mention num plus 1? If I mention num plus 1, what is the issue that is there in the given program? If I had num plus 1, what will be the issue in the program? Exactly. The issue will be even the even numbers will be added. Okay, even the even numbers will be added. Because if you notice in the program, we are not checking is a number odd or even. There is no statement to check is a what you call is a number entered odd or even. So therefore, what we are going to do is the numbers we are adding itself, we are going to make sure we are taking only the odd numbers. So that's why when I'm starting with 1, when I say plus 2, I'll be directly going to 3. Now, when you come to end while, in a while loop, when you come to end while, normally what you do, you again go and check the condition. So now I again go and check the condition is num less than 10. Right. Based on the current value of num, tell me, is it less than 10? Yes, it is less than 10. So that's again going to be true. That's again going to be true. Right. So inside we have sum equals sum plus num. Now, based on that, tell me, what will be the new value of sum? I'm going to say sum is equal to sum plus num. Based on that, what will be the value of sum? Yes, when you say sum equals sum plus num, it's going to take the value of sum, that's 1, value of num 3. So 1 plus 3 is going to be 4. Sum equals sum plus num. Right? Then we have num equals num plus 2. So based on that, tell me what will be the value of num? Num equals num plus 2. Yes, exactly. The current value of num is 3. So when you say num plus 2, it will become 5. Is it compulsory to draw the table? No, no. This is for the question, only this much is required. The reason I'm drawing this table, also known as truth table, is to show you all, sorry, dry run, my bad, dry run, is to show you how the program is functioning. Because always, if you want to be good at programming, you should always understand how the program runs. Now, for example, if I come and ask you, what do you call how to find or modify this program, what do you call where it will find if the number is odd or even, okay? So you all, some of you all might know, we can write it if statement, if num mod 2 equals 0, okay, you can write that, okay? How do you all know that? Because you all have done such questions. If you have never done a question like that, if you have never written a program using that if num mod 2, all those stuffs, will you know how will your brain be able to automatically at once think it? No, it'll require lots of thinking power. Okay, at once you'll not be able to think. But if you understand, if you have come across many questions and if you have understood how the program is working, that will help you to do other complex programs as well. Will they ask to draw this table? I have throughout past papers, I have seen only one past paper which I've asked that. Only once I've seen the truth table because the truth table is normally not there. It's not there in your textbook. They don't teach you how to draw truth table. So what do you call? But there was once one paper, a provincial paper, which required O level name, but provincial. Anyways, next. So I'm again going to go and check. Okay, I'm again going to go and check what do you call the so num equals num plus 2, that's going to become 5. Then I'm again going to go and check the condition while num is less than 10. So if I go and check while 5 is less than 10, it's going to give me true. Then sum equals sum plus num, sum is 4, num is 5, sum plus num is going to be 9. The num equals num plus 2 is going to give me 7. I'm again going to check while num is less than 10, is 7 less than 10? That's going to give me true. Then num equals num plus 2, that's going to give you 9. Then I'm again going to go and check. Wait, before I put this true, I have to go and first of all put sum equals sum plus num. So that's 9 plus 7, which is 16. Then num equals num plus 2. So that's going to give you 9. Again, I'll go and check is num less than 10. That's going to give me true. Then I have here sum equals sum plus num. So 16 plus 9 is going to give me 25. Then num equals num plus 2. That's going to give me 11. I'm going to go and check is 11 less than 10. Will that give me true or false? When I'm going to go and check is 11 less than 10. Exactly. That's going to give me false. While loop, if it gives you false, are you going to continue or are you going to stop the loop? You will be stopping the loop. Then what you're going to do is you're going to execute the statements you have after and while. After and while, we have something called display sum. So what is the latest value of sum? Exactly. You can see the last value, the latest value of sum we have got here is 25. The latest value of sum we have got is 25. So we are going to display here 25. Now let's check is our answer correct or wrong. Okay. Now if you take the sum of numbers between 0 and 10, the numbers are what? Is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Let's add and see how we get 25. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 9 is 25. Yes, we are getting the correct answer here. That means our program is running correctly. Okay. Normally we draw the diagram itself, check if the program is running correctly. But yeah, did you understand how this program functions, all of you? Yes or no? If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. What is it, Aisha? So your required answer is only this much. This pink color part is only the required answer. Others, I just showed you how the program functions. Those who have any questions, drop them in chat. Let's see. Why don't textbook contain the dry run? Because it's complex. Because it's unwanted. Unwanted meaning they feel like you all will not understand. You all will get confused. They think that you all are still putty babas. The fact is that only, but yeah, if you use dry run, you can explain something more better. Can we do more? We have done several questions, Ashma. 4 plus 3 is 7. Ne. Did I? Okay, I again told you all. Dry run is not a table where you can assume that this num is less than 10. I'm taking this as num. When I say sum plus num, I'm taking this plus this. You can't do that assumption after you draw the table. Dry run is something you do while doing the question. Okay. Now, when I say what you call, when I'm saying num sum equals sum plus num, I don't go and take the respective rows value. I check in each column the latest value. So don't think that okay, this four I got is from 1 plus 3, or four I got what you call this 7 I got here was from 4 plus 3 or whatever. Don't make any conclusions like that. Always I told you, dry run is something you draw when we're doing the question. Now tell me, did I fill the dry run row by row, or did I fill the dry run column by column, or did I fill the dry run by executing instruction by instruction? Did I fill the dry run by looking at instructions by instruction, or did I fill the dry run row by row randomly or column by column randomly? What did I follow? Exactly. I followed instruction by instruction. I saw here sum equals 0 under sum by when I put 0. I saw here num equals 1 under num by when I put 1. I saw here while a is num is less than 10, I saw the value of numbers 1 is 1 less than 10, true. Likewise, what I did was I went the instruction by instruction. So always you have to do this parallelly. You can't do this separately. You can't do this like in the mind. You can't do it. Okay. Because if you try doing it, there is 99% chance it's going on. Now, you're lucky in this question. You know, say num is less than 10, it's parallel. Like you're checking this number. But there are certain dry runs where you're not checking, you'll be checking the value of the number in the previous column. So, it can mess you up. Don't go in that column by column or row by row format. Always fill the dry run by looking at the program. Is that clear? Right. Next. Some older 23 buggers are here. Jobless people. Anyways, enjoy. Okay. The following algorithm is used to select players for rugby ball. I think I gave you a time for this as well. Yes. Okay, the following algorithm is used to select a player for a rugby pool. The selection is based on the height, weight, and age of the player. Fine. If age is greater than or equal to 21 and height is blah 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 blah. Fine, good. Let's see. So the question is asking write down all the names of the players who are qualified for the pool. So let's check one by one. First of all, let's check Nirmal. Let's take Nirmal as a Baliade. Now Nirmal's age is 21. So I'm just going to write in top of these variables, this age, height, weight. On top of these variables, I'm just going to write the values. Okay. So Nirmal's age is going to be 21. Nirmal's height is 159. Nirmal's weight is 71. Okay. Now, when I'm checking the first condition, is Nirmal's age less than or greater than or equal to 21? Okay, when I'm checking if Nirmal's age is greater than or equal to 21, tell me, will this give me true or false? Yes. When I'm checking is 21 greater than or equal to 21, that's going to give me true. Then next condition. I have next one is height greater than or equal to 160. Tell me, will this condition give me true or false? Is 159 greater than or equal to 160? Exactly. That is going to give me false. That is going to give me false. Then I have a condition here. Is weight greater than or equal to 70? Will that give me true or false? Exactly. That's going to give me true. That's going to give me true. So I have here if age is greater than or equal to 20 and height is greater than or equal to 160 or weight is greater than or equal to 70. This is my condition I have. Okay. It's something like this. T and F T and F or T. Okay. This you can see height is greater than or equal to 160 or weight is. This is all. This is coming. Both of these are coming in one common brackets. Okay. This is coming in one common brackets. Something like this. Okay. It's someplace. See, I have true for the first one, first condition true, and the second brackets I have F or T. Okay. Now, based on this, tell me. Now, for always in bottom mass, we solve the brackets now first. So, based on that, tell me when I'm checking false or true. Okay. Let's say you can imagine false as 0, true as 1. Okay. So, based on the logical operators, tell me if I'm using the OR operator there, what will be the overall result of that? False or true? Will it give me true or will it give me false? Imagine 0 and 1 in logic gates. Okay. Yes, that's going to give me true. That's going to give me true. Now I have true for the first bracket, then I have AND here, and I have true again here. Now using how the AND gates logic works, tell me when I have true and true, what will be the overall result? Exactly, true and true will give me true. So based on that, we can get an idea. The whole condition we have here, the full condition is there. This full condition is going to give me true. So based on that, tell me, is Nirmal qualified for the pool? Yes or no? Yes, Nirmal is qualified for the pool. Nirmal is qualified for the pool. Is that clear, all of you? Did you understand how I did that? Perfect. Now let's check with Rajiv. Okay, now let's check with Rajiv. Right. Now let's check with Rajiv. I'm going to replace these values now with Rajiv's, what do you call values? Rajiv's age is 36. Rajiv's height is 165. Rajiv's weight is 72. Okay. Those who did not understand Nirmal, at least check Rajiv and see, did you get the idea of how this works? Okay. Check the group now. I mean, check how I'm doing Rajiv, then you will understand. I'm going to go and check is now I'm going to now check the conditions. Okay. Now I replace his age, height, weight with Rajiv's details. Now I'm going to check each and every condition. Okay. First one, I'm going to check is Rajiv's age greater than or equal to 21. Now look at Rajiv's age and tell me, is it greater than or equal to 21? Yes or no? Yes, Rajiv's age is greater than 21. Normally in Boolean expressions, we don't mention yes and no. Normally we mention the word true or false. That's why I'm using here T. Okay. T means true. So Rajiv is greater than or equal to 21. That condition is going to give me true. Now I'm going to go for my second condition. The second next condition I have is his height greater than or equal to 160? Okay. Look at this current height. Look at Rajiv's height and tell me when I'm going to check is his height greater than or equal to 160? Will that condition give me true or false? Yes, when I'm going to check is 165 greater than or equal to 160, that's going to give me true. Now I have another condition. Is his weight greater than or equal to 70? When I go and check, is his weight greater than or equal to 70? Will that condition give me true or false? That condition is also going to give me true or true. Okay. So if I see the overall condition, okay, in the first brackets, I have true. The first bracket is giving me true. Then I have and here. Okay. In my second brackets, I have one condition giving me true. Then I have or. And I have the other condition giving me again true. So it's something like this, true or true. Always when you get a question like this, we solve the brackets first. Okay. So if you go to the first brackets, that is true or true, what will be the overall result of this? The overall result is going to be true. Okay. You are using logic gates, logic gate or same logic is there, but yeah. Now you have true from this one and you have and here. Now using AND gates logic, tell me if you have true and true, what will be the overall result? That's going to be true. Okay. If you are confused what is and or, how this works, think of something like this. If I'm saying to come for the class, you need the pen and pencil. I'm saying to come for the class, you need a pen and pencil. Okay. There are four possibilities. There could be four possibilities. One possibility is you have pen and you have pencil both. Another possibility is you have the pen but no pencil. Another possibility is no pencil but have pen. See, no pen but have pencil. Another possibility is you don't have both. Now, when I say for you come to the class, you need both the pen and pencil. Out of the given scenarios, okay, out of the given instances, in which instance or what are the instances you can come for the class? Instance 1, instance 2, 3 or 4? The X means don't have. Exactly. When I say to come for the class, you need the pen and pencil. You need the pen as well as you need pencil. You need both. Okay. And get also works like that. When both the conditions are true, you can think the tick as true. So if it's true and true, only that time AND gate will also give you true. If it's true and false, then AND gate will give you false. Or if it's false and true, then also AND gate will give you false. And if you give false and false, then also AND gate will give you false. Okay, that's how the AND gate works. Is that clear? And OR gate also you can think of the similar logic. Okay, you can think if it's pen or pencil. Now instead of pen and pencil, if I do a small modification, instead of doing pen and pencil, I'm going to tell something else. I'll be like to come for the class, you need the pen or pencil. Okay, I'm going to tell if you come for the class, you need the pen or pencil. Now, what are the instances you can come? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, what are the scenarios you can come for the class? When I say pen or pencil. Exactly. In the first instance, you can come, correct. Second instance, you can come, correct, because you have the pen. Third instance, you can come because you have the pencil. But in the last instance, can you come for the class? No, you can't. Because I'm saying you had the pen or pencil. You're coming without both. So without both, then you can't come for the class. Okay. So OR gate works in such that if either one of the inputs are true, result is going to be true. Okay. That's why you notice here, even though one is false and other one is true, because it is in OR gate, the result was true. And here both are true, so result is true. Is that clear? Perfect. So Rajiv also now can come for the class. Right. Now let's check Salim. Salim's age is 25. Yes. Salim's height is 150. Salim's weight is 6'9". Now, based on this, tell me what will be the result of the first condition, the age condition. Will it give me true or false? When I'm checking, is Salim's age greater than or equal to 21? Exactly. That's going to give me true. Second condition, is his height greater than or equal to 160? True or false? Perfect. That's going to give me false. Then, is his weight greater than or equal to 70? True or false? Perfect. That's also going to give me false. Now let's use our logic for this. Okay, for Salim. For Salim, we have the first brackets true, and the next brackets we have false or false. Now, tell me if both our conditions are false, what will be the overall result? False or false will give you? Yes, false or false will give you false. So we have false here, we have true here. Okay. Now tell me, when you have true and false, what will be the overall result? It's going to be false. Okay, true and false is going to give you false. Now, based on this, tell me, is Salim qualified for the pool? Yes, yes. Exactly. Salim is not qualified for the pool. So answer here is going to be Nirmal and Rajiv. They are the answer. Tell me all of you are clear of how to find the answer here. You all understand that. Okay, perfect. How many of you got this correct? Raise your hand, the participant list. Let's check. Thank you, Asna. We are also not qualified. You all can check your height and all and check. Okay, right. Those who have any mistakes you all want to correct or you all want to copy down, I'll give you all 2 minutes. Quickly copy the corrections. Let me show you both the answers. If there's any corrections or something you all want to do, your answer. Let me zoom it properly. I'll give you all 2 minutes. Those are any question copy. Those are any questions, or can drop in the chat. Others, if you're copying anything, quickly copy it down. Let me put the timer. I wrote all three names, so will I get marks? Ah, no. If you write all three names, you get 0 marks. That's a fun fact. You will not get. They will not put correct for Nimal and Rajivan. They will not what you call put no for Salim. එහෙම කරන්නේ. The marks for this you have to mention correctly only Nirmal and Rajiv. If you mention only Nirmal, sometimes if they're good, they might give marks. But if you mentioned all three names, no marks. Do we have to do workings to prove the answer, or only just write the answer? Only write the answer. No need workings. For this question, no need workings, because this is a compulsory question. Part two, question number one. It's just 2 marks question, man. For 2 marks question, you don't need workings. Anything else? Would you give 1 mark if you put one? No. I will not give marks. But if it's exams means if you mention only one answer, they might give marks. But all three answers, no marks. Why, sir? Why is because now, for example, obviously you know either one of them is correct. Now, when you get a question like this, there is 99. Rarely you get all three wrong. 99% chance either one of them is correct. So if you put all three, it's like a safe game. No, you can get one correct and two they will cut and logically think as from the teacher's perspective. So if you put all three, 0 marks. That's why I think should not be over too much intelligent. You have to do what is only required. Okay, I hope all of y'all have done the corrections, right? Let's go for the next one. Okay, this is a part two main question. I'll be giving you all 5 minutes for this. It's an easy question. You have to do this in 5 minutes, huh? Because there is this is Roman number one. There's Roman number two as well. I'll show the Roman number two in a while. I'll give you all 5 minutes to do this question. Once you're done with this question, you can raise your hands in the participant list. So you put the time of 5 minutes. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, I can drop them in the chat. At what time class finishes? Class will finish at 7:30. You will be getting a break to pray Maghrib at around 7:15, 7. Okay. Or if you're done with this, you can pray itself and come now. Because I'll be discussing this at 6:55. I'll anyways give a time to pray, but yeah, if you're done, you can now itself go and pray. Those who are done, you can raise your hands in the participant list. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Whatever. In certain places, power cut it seems. I mistakenly clicked on an emoji. Yeah, I saw it. The laughing emoji. It automatically gets cleared, man. He also power cut, hanging on my last bit of data. Stuff. Not mine. I was reading one of the students' reply. Alhamdulillah, there's current here. Hopefully, there's no issues today. Will it Sinhala? Yes. Actually, I'm very bad at Tamil. I am very good at Sinhala. You'll have 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. I don't know how are you waiting. Just so that it's so cool. I'm inside the blanket. I have put the fan to one and kept on. It's in two. But it's cool here as well. Why don't you do ALL ICT class? No time. I mean, at the moment I have time, but again from next month or something I'll be again getting busy. So all these days it's 11.5 I was busy, but yeah, from next month again I'll start getting busy with some other works. I don't have time to give that commitment for next 3 years. Now I remember the Hana here last Kavya. Adrum, yeah, got it. In this question, should we have to write the numbers for A and B or should we just display it as A and B? Um, you have to just draw the flow chart. In flow chart, you don't write numbers, you don't write anything. In flow chart, you just represent same. It's very easy, man. Make sure answers are neat, huh? Or number takila don't just kata 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 just don't scribble. I'm a new student. Can I join tomorrow's class, the trial class, please? Yeah, you can. I think you drop me WhatsApp settings to check it. After class, I'll reply. Will our exams be on December? As I know, only 2025 batch will be on December. Yours will be on January or something. I can't remember. 50 seconds more. Sometimes much. I don't know. You all they have given you enough of time. Let's see. Let's see. If it's December, it's interesting. Then it'll be back to normal. Earlier by said 5 months extra. Let's see. Let's see. How many it depends on student. I don't give the same suggestion for everyone. I have to talk and time up. Based on I give individual answers for it. Not enough time. If okay, let's see. This is a very easy question. You're just the below given flowchart. See the below given Pascal pseudocode reads two numbers and displays the largest number. Draw a flowchart represent above pseudocode. Easy. So normally in pseudocode you mention start as start only. Sorry, in a flowchart you mention start as start. And what is the shape we use to represent start? Sorry, the begin or end of the program. Basically start. What is the shape we use? What do you call that long circle? So basically, Umair correct, Yahya correct. Yes, Vardas is correct. It's called ellipse. Even some people call it as oval. Fine, okay. In certain times, exams they give the word oval, but the correct shape is called ellipse shape. Okay, this is oval and this is ellipse. Okay, ellipse is like you have corners to a, I mean, up and down a straight, corners are like curve. That's what ellipse shape is. The correct shape is ellipse, not oval. But yeah, anything is fine. So you draw the ellipse shape properly. Then get A and B. I have mentioned the tutement. Go and check. What do you call next is get A and B. To get A and B, you have to mention, you can use the word get as well, or you can mention, I'll check later, Aisha. Or you can mention input, or you can use any other similar words as well. I'm going to stick with the same words, get A and B. Now get A and B. Is there an input statement, process, output, or a condition? Input. If it's an input, what is the shape we have to use? Exactly. If it's an input, we have to use a parallelogram. So I'm going to use here the parallelogram. Make sure you're not drawing these shapes, use a pencil so it's neat, okay? Then we have if A is greater than B. If A is greater than B, then do blah, blah, blah. Is there an input, process, output, or a condition? It's a condition. What is the shape we use to represent conditions? Exactly. To represent conditions, we are using a rhombus. So I'll draw a rhombus here. And the rhombus will have if A is greater than B. Normally, if you do a condition, there are two outcomes. Either the condition can give you true or false. So to show both the outcomes, we draw two different arrows. You can draw it from any vertex. I'm going to use this side for yes. And I'm going to use this side for no. That's the rhombus. I tell diamond. The correct word is rhombus, man. This answer would be like prove it's rhombus. I'm not going to reply for that. Anyways, okay. If this condition gives you true, can we write input A and B? Yeah, you can. That's what I said. When you can use any synonym for get there. Okay. Now I have if A is greater than B killer. So when I have this condition, there are two possible outcomes, yes and no. If this condition is true, what should get displayed? Display A or display B? Exactly. As per the pseudocode, you're going to display A. Display A, is there an input, process, output, or a condition? It's output. So output means what's the shape? Exact. Output means parallelogram. So I'm going to use here parallelogram. Fine. On the no side, we have to display B because in that condition they have mentioned else display B. So for display B, again it's output. So I'm going to use a parallelogram. Next, after the program, after you display A or after you display B, by looking at the program, you can see the program is completing. It's the end of the program. Okay. To show the end of the program, I'm going to use a keyword call. I'm going to use this instruction called end. Okay. What is the shape I have to use for end? Exactly. I have to use the ellipse shape. Okay. I use the ellipse shape for end as well. Now, should I draw a different end for display B and different end for display A? No. What I'll do is I'll connect the same thing to the common one. Okay. My flow chart is very ugly here. Okay. It's not perfect. The shapes all, angle, mangal, okay, it's there. That's because I'm drawing in the graphics tab. Right. But when you are drawing it, make sure you use a pencil, ruler, and all those stuffs and draw them neatly. Anyways, all of you are clear with the flow chart. It's a very easy one. All good with this? Get AB. Is it a rectangle? No, it's a parallelogram. For input and output, you use a parallelogram. If it's a condition, you use a rhombus. If it's a process, you use a rectangle. And if it's the start or end of the program, you use ellipse. And then again and again, majority of you are asking instead of get, can we put input output? I'm fed up of saying this. I told you you can use any other synonyms for get. As long as it's a synonym, you're good to go. You can use input, you can use enter, you can use write, sorry, read, you can use what do you call whatever word synonyms you want, you can use. As long as the idea of that is going to be you're asking the user, you're good to go. What's the mark for this question? So the marks is going to be divided like this. Put 1 mark for the shape and the instruction. Both should be correct. So 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this, two, three, for yes, four, for no, five, six, seven, eight, 8 marks. Another thing, make sure lines are touching the shape properly. And you can see now end my this is not touching properly. So make sure that it's the lines you draw are touching the shapes properly. What about using connectors? There is no need to use a connector here. Only if you don't have space and you're going to go to another page, you will need a connector. So here we don't have that issue. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 8 marks, how much do you all get? In always, this question carries 8 marks. Wow, that means I have given the correct answer. I ask, is this question carry? No, mad, no. In oral, this question carries 5 marks because these are part of the question. You can see the next part is there. So this is five, then that is five. I'm just giving you all eight based on a different conclusion, but yeah, not 8 out of 10, 8 out of 8. There is another marks which I didn't still do. I didn't connect A and B. What do you mean by you didn't connect A and B? You mean you didn't connect this display A to end? Can I use connectors for fun? Nope. Only if it's required. Fine. You can do the corrections here, others. I'm going to go for the next one now. The time is now 7:03. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes to pray, and then you can do this question. Actually, suppose the teacher has conducted blah blah blah, blah. You can find the answer for ABD within 4 5 minutes. So yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes to pray and 5 minutes to do this question. So now time is seven, not 5 minutes total to pray plus do this question. I'll give you 7 minutes. Now the time is 7:03. I'll be discussing this question at 7:10. You can pray and start this, or start pray and but you could start and then pray. Those are going to pray. If you're already played, then do this and prayed. The connectors is used when there is no place exist. Exactly. So if you're writing, normally it's in papers. Writing in papers, sometimes you might like it's a whole page you're writing a flow chart. There was no space, and you're going to go and continue the program in the next page. You can't just start randomly. There should be a connection. So then you can show, okay, here's a program ending, and the continuation. I'm starting from the next page. You can show. Okay, I'm going to start at 7:10. Quickly, those who are going to pray and come. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. I'll also quickly go and pray and come. Okay, let's. We got this question in exam. See, they have just taken the question and given it. That means. Okay, the time is up. Let's discuss this now. Suppose a school has conducted an examination of a particular subject for 100 students and recorded the marks code. So they have conducted this exam for 100 students, it seems. The given flowchart with blank spaces indicated by labels A to D is designed to read these marks and display the highest. So we are going to go through all 100 marks and find out the highest marks. Fine. Identify and write down the appropriate statements for the label A, B, C, and D. Okay. Now, as per when you read this question, tell me, based on this question, what is the input we are going to obtain? What are the inputs you can notice here? Exactly. The only input you can see here, we are going to obtain the marks. Marks of how many students? Exactly. The input you can notice here is 100 students, marks. 100 students, marks. What is the output we have here? Exactly. The output is the highest marks out of all of them. The output is going to be the highest mark out of all 100 marks. Fine. Let's see how we can do this question based on that. We can see here in the beginning of the program, input X, right? Now, based on this, tell me, what do you think this X is going to be? X variable is going to be used to store what? The marks. Exactly. Okay. You can create a conclusion, right? It's going to be used to store the marks. Because apart from marks, are there any other inputs we need from the user? No. Apart from that marks, there is nothing else we need from the user. Fine. Then I'm saying max equals X. For example, imagine there's 100 students. Okay. Or let's make our answer a bit smaller. Imagine there's 5 students. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. I want to find out of them who got the highest marks. I want to ask the first person the marks. And this first person is telling, I got 75 marks. I got 75 marks. So now I am saying, okay, the highest marks is going to be 75. Right. Without checking the remaining people's marks, can I directly say, oh, okay, you're the highest marks. Can I just finish off the what you call a program? No. To find the highest marks, I should know the remaining people's marks as well. Okay. So now I know, okay, maximum is X, fine, count equals 1. So now I have count equals 1. That means now I have got the first student's marks. So I'm going to say, I'm going to use a variable called count to make to to control this loop. Okay. That means to control the number of repetitions, I'm actually using this variable called count. So when I say count equals 1, I want to write here an instruction. Okay. I want to write here condition. Okay. I want to write here condition that's going to repeat these instructions. The instruction I'm doing in green color. That's going to repeat these instructions again and again and again. Okay, that's going to repeat these instructions again and again and again. Fine. Before I figure out that, first of all, I'll tell you one thing. If you look at this green color structure I mentioned, you can see there is a parallelogram here. And then throughout the program, there's another parallelogram here. Now, use your logics a bit and tell me when you compare B and D. Okay, when you compare B and D, B is something that's going to repeat, D is not going to repeat. D is something that's going to display at the end. When you compare B and D, out of B and D, do you think B is an output or D is an output? What does it look like? Does B look like an output or D looks like an output? Exactly. Now in the program, the only output we have is the output, the highest marks. So the highest marks is output at the end of after you go through all the values you're going to output. So that's it looks like okay, this is going to be like output. Maybe this looks like it's going to output the highest marks. Again, it's not a confirmation, it's just an assumption. And then B looks like getting marks because if you notice here, we have got how many marks up to here if you check before starting this loop, how many marks we have got? How many students marks have we got? Only one student's marks. Okay, only one student's marks. You can see we have got only one student's marks. That one student marks is obtained from here. Now, based on that, tell me within the loop, okay, within this loop, How many students marks should I get? Let's consider B as input marks. Let's consider B as to be as input marks. Okay, let's consider B is going to be input mark, because obviously it should be, it can't be an output, no, because there's only one output. So I'm going to be like input mark. Okay, so tell me, within this loop, how many marks should I get? Yeah, none of you all know the correct. Umair Suleiman correct. Yeah, yeah, correct. I guess others have lost your brains a bit. We have total 100 students. First student's marks we got from here. Then how many marks should I get from here? Exactly. Only 99 marks, right? Only 99 students marks I have to get within the loop. Is that clear, all of you? First of all, tell me that. Is that clear for all of you? Within the loop, I have to get 99 students marks. Is that clear? One thing, yes, there is a small mistake in this question. It should be count is equal to count plus one. The symbol was messed up there. Okay, this should be count equals count plus one. But let's leave that aside. Yes. So now you know, okay, this loop, whatever that means, now B is going to be input marks. Now, this input marks has to continue for 99 times. That has to continue 99 times. Okay. Now it's like this. Tell me a condition I can use. I can write using the variable count. Okay. Tell me a condition I can write using the variable count to control and to make sure these instructions are repeated 99 times. The instruction I wrote in green color is there, right? To make sure those instructions are repeated 99 times, give me a condition I can write in A using the variable count. Exactly. Either I can write, okay, for A, either I can write is count less than 99, so less than 100. This is option number one. Or other alternate answers apart from count less than 100, other alternate answer I can write is count less than or equal to 99. This is also possible. Okay. So if I write this condition, again it's going to repeat 99 times. If I write this condition, again it's going to repeat 99 times. Because if you look at this, if you look at that condition is dependent on which variable. It's going and checking the value of which variable. This yellow color condition is checking the value of which variable. Exactly. It's going and checking the value of the count variable. It's going and checking the value of which variable? The count variable. So initially I'm going to check is count less than 100. So you can see the initial value of count was how much? The initial value of count, you can see it was 1. Okay. Initial value of count was 1. So it's going to check is 1 less than 100, is 2 less than 100, is 3. The value of 1, the count is being changed in 2, 3 and all using this statement. Okay. So we have a count equals count plus 1. This bug is only going to change the value of count. Okay. So initially you can see count was 1. Then it's going to become 2, 3, 4, 5 kilo. The value of count is going to increase. Okay. Now imagine we have count is 99. Okay. Imagine the value of count is 99. Now if I'm going to check is 99 less than 100, okay, it's going to give me true. Fine. Imagine the value of count was 100. If I'm going to check is 100 less than 100, will this give me true or false? Exactly. That is going to give me false. If I'm going to check is 100 less than or equal to 100, will this give me true or false? That's going to give me true. Some of you are asking, so instead of mentioning count is less than 100, can't we mention less than or equal to 100? Now, if you mention less than or equal to 100, the problem is when the value of count is 100, when the value of count is 100, you'll be getting true. So based on that, within the loop, how many marks are you going to get? Within the loop, if you use less than or equal to 100, if you use this condition, within the loop, how many marks are you going to get? If you use that condition, I'm saying, if you use this condition, count is less than or equal to 100, within the loop, how many marks are you going to get? 100. And then here you already got 1 mark. So in total, how many marks are you going to get? In total now, in the full program, within the loop 100, out of the loop 1, so total 101. But if you read this question, are we talking about 100 students or 101 students? What is the question talking about? How many students? The question is talking about 100 students. So in that case, if you have got the first student's mark here, within the loop you have to get only 99 students marks. That is why I said this specific condition is wrong. Is that clear? If I use that condition, I'll be getting 100 students marks within the loop. That's why I said count is less than 100 you can use, or you can also use count is less than or equal to 99. Both are correct. Okay, now I have found A and B. Is that clear, all of you? Yes or no? Is A and B clear? If it's not clear, tell me exactly what is not clear. Which one did you not understand? Those who did not understand that, tell me which one you don't understand. Okay. What is your question there? What do you mean by you didn't understand? Not marks. This should be input X. B should be input X. My bad. Yes. B should be input X. Fine. For A, what is your question? Like be specific. And how I got less than 100. What is the issue you have there? What is the answer you got? Were you thinking count is less than or equal to 100? Or like what is exactly the issue in A? B by input X again. Because if you go throughout the program, to store the marks, we're using X as a variable. See, input X, max equals X, X is greater than max. The X is a variable used to store marks. So that's why. How do we figure out easily? Experience. Count is less than or equal to 100. This was my answer. If you use less than or equal to 100, that's what I mentioned a while ago. If you use less than or equal to 100, what will happen is that set of code is there, right? That means in my one I have like green color is there, right? That green color instructions will be repeated 100 times. Okay. While the value of count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 killer. Until when the value of count is 99 also, it will go. When the value of count is 100 also, it will execute. Okay. Because when you say count is less than or equal to 100, it will execute while the value of count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this will go up to 100. All the values it will execute. Now, based on that, what will happen is this code, the green color highlighted code, those will be repeated again and again, it will be repeated 100 times. If it repeats 100 times, okay, this instruction is also repeated 100 times. No? If this instruction repeats 100 times, you will be getting 100 marks, 100 different marks within the loop. But if you look at the whole program, if I'm going to get 100 marks here, 100 students marks through this, and one student marks through this, total I'm getting how many marks? Here 100, there 1. So total how many? Total 101. So when the program is ending, at the end of the program, I'll be getting 101 mark, 101 students marks. But if you look at the question says we are going to deal with only 100 students marks. That is why what I did was I figured out that, okay, we have already got the first students marks here. Then within the loop, I have to get only 99 students marks. That's why I wrote the condition as count is less than 100. So if I put count is less than 100, it will not take 100. It will take only from 1 to 99. So if you count the numbers between 1 to 99, there are 99 different numbers. So 99 times those conditions will be repeated. Is that clear? Okay, perfect. How to determine what to put in? That's what I was explaining for the last. How many this one's been? Be specific on your question. How is B equal to input X? What do you think in B should be then? You tell me what should be B, then I tell you. I can be more specific. What do you think B should be? If you're asking me how is in B input X, what was your expectation of the? Yeah, so I'll explain that again. Okay. So if you see this program, you can see a input X. Okay. And before I went to this program, I asked you all one thing. What are the inputs in this program? What are the outputs? Apart from getting the marks, is there any other inputs? No. So that's why if you see input X, you can make the conclusion, fine, X is going to be the variable that is used to store the marks. Right. That's why I wrote here also input X. In B also I wrote input X because X is a variable that's used to store the marks. Right. Now I have a condition here. That is the entered marks, that is x greater than max. Okay, always when you have a condition, there are two outcomes. Either the condition is true or if the condition is false. Okay, you can see here if the condition is false, okay, you might have noticed in this program, If the condition is false, you're directly going and checking A. But if the condition is true, you can see there's some process that has to be happened. Okay. Now, imagine the second student gave me the marks when I execute the program. Second student told me his marks are 85. Okay. So when I'm going to check, is X is now going to be 75, 85 now. So if I'm going to check, is X greater than max? Basically, is 85 greater than 75? And if I'm getting true, now what is the process that has to be done? I have to update what's value. If there's two students, second student's marks is greater than the first student's marks. So to update whose value? Which variable's value has to get updated? Exactly. But value has to get updated. The max variable's value has to get updated. Okay. All this time max variable had the value of 75. Now the second student got a higher marks. So because the second student got a higher marks, now I'd say, okay, 75 is not the highest. Highest has to be changed to 85. So that's why we're saying when X is greater than max, that means if the entered marks is greater than the currently existing highest marks. Okay. If the entered marks is greater than the existing highest marks, I'm going to say max is equal to X. So this is going to update the value of the highest marks. It's updating the highest marks only if the marks is greater. If the marks is less, will it update? If the new student's marks is less than the currently highest marks, okay, if the new student's marks is less, should it update? Yes or no? No, exactly. If the marks is less, it should not update. Only if the new marks is more, it has to get updated. Okay, is that clear, all of you? Up to there. Do you understand how max equals X, all of you? Do we need to show working for this question or just the four answers are enough? Just you, there is no workings for this part, just the four answers only. Workings has to be processed in the head. Fine. Okay. Then we have D. We already found out D is going to be output. So D should be output what? 75 and 85 are examples. Yes, I just use this as examples to explain you. Exactly. What should D be? Yes, D should output the highest marks. Highest marks is stored in which variable? What is the variable that's going to store the highest marks? Exactly. It's a max variable. So when I say output max, that will output the highest marks in our program. Is that clear, all of you? So these are the values of A, B, C, and D. Did all of you understand this? Yes or no? How many of you all got, drop me your marks, like let's say A is 1 mark, B is 1 mark, C is 1 mark, D is 1 mark. Tell me your marks you all got out of 4. They ask if X is greater than max. Then do we say they both are equal? Then why do we say equal? Okay, imagine like this. Imagine there are 3 students. First student got 75 marks, second student got 85 marks, third student got 65 marks. Okay, I'm asking the first student, what is your marks? He's saying 75. So I'm saying, okay, up to now, the maximum highest marks is 75. I'm asking the second student his marks. He says 85. Now, still, is the maximum going to be 75 or should the maximum be updated? Ashman, I'm asking you, okay? It has got updated. So now the maximum marks should be how much? 85. Now I'm asking the next student. He's saying his marks is 65. Should I update the maximum marks? No. So how did the logic here work? Let's say X is going to be the marks and max is going to show the highest marks. I got input X. So input X gave me 75. Then I'm going to check is X great and I'm going to say max equals 75. So now X is going to be first X was 75. Now I'm saying max is going to be 75. Then I'm going to check. Okay. Now I'm going to ask again input. So now you enter the second student's marks. That is 85. Now I have to check is max X greater than max. Is the second student's marks greater than the existing highest marks. So if X is greater than max, Now I'm going to say max has to be 85. But if it is less, should I do any changes? No. So if it's less, now I go for the next student. I'm getting next student's marks. Next student is saying 65. Now I'm going to check, is 65 greater than max? So currently the max was 85. So when I go and check 65 is greater than 85, this gives me false. So there is no change. So I'm updating the value of max. I'm changing the value of max only if the entered marks is greater than the existing highest marks. Was that clear, Hashman? It's quite hard to understand the flowchart. What are the easy way to do it? Experience. The more questions you practice, like I told you, programming is not something that it's like, like science or maths where you can learn it. It's not the same theory that's being repeated. Programming, what we do, what is the thing we do in programming? In simple words, you can answer that. What do we do in programming in 2 words? Tell me in 2 words, what do we do in programming? Nabiha, correct? Giving instruction is not what happens. Nahma, correct? Yeah, correct. We do in programming is problem solving. We solve problems. So you can't expect the same problem always, right? You will be expecting new and new problems. Even in your life, you can come across several problems. If you're solving a problem in your life currently, it's based on what? Based on your past experience. For example, let's say you're having an accident. Okay, you face a small injury. Okay, now when you face the injury, you know what to do, right? Should I go to the hospital? Should I go home? Or should I go again, what you call, let's say, and play? You have the decision making. You're making that decision based on your past experience. If you have never fallen down early in your life, or if you have never seen someone else falling, you don't know what to do. You don't know whether should I go to the hospital, whether I have to go home, or should I continue with the blood flowing. You don't know what to do. Okay, so everything is based on your experience. Similarly, programming also completely it's based on experience. The more and more questions you have done, the more and more practices you practice and practice and practice you have done, it will improve your problem solving skills. The main part of programming is not writing codes. The main part of programming is not just developing applications or whatever. It's about problem solving. Okay, if we in SDLC we learned about something called as in SDLC lesson, we learned the first thing of identify requirements, right? Second thing we learned about designing, right? I told you another name for the designing phase. What is that? I gave another name for the designing phase. I said apart from designing, we do something else there. What is it? Planning. What we actually do in that planning is we just write a rough sketch of how we are going to solve our problem. If you can remember the last week I did that practical, I was writing in scratch. Okay, we can solve this like this, we can solve this like this. Killer. And the thinking how we to solve a problem, right? That's what is improving your problem solving pattern or whatever, right? So the more and more programming questions you have dealt with will make sure that you can score better answers in. So I mean, you just take me as example. Okay, I was a person who has never done past papers. I never done past papers. I never do oral past papers before my exams. I had that Kirgis work. I never have done not even one oral past paper for my exam. Only maths I have done once, but apart from that, no, I don't like to do past papers. Okay, and what do you call? I don't even I revise shape. Okay, but I'm able to get the marks. Okay, is because of practice. I have the thing is practical practice is there because I used to create programs even before I started doing orals. Okay, so because of that, because I had that practice. But was your results? 5A 1B 2C or something. 678. No, 5A 1B 5678. 5A 1B 3C. 3C is for three stupid subjects: literature, history, and what are the subject? History. The three subject: literature, history, and Sinhala. I hated those three subjects. Without practicing, you got. Without practicing means I have a different pattern. Don't just because like I said, just because for me it work, it doesn't mean for you it will work. Because you all are seeing only one phase of the life. You all don't see, but there are different phases, right? For example, actually we're done with the question. If you have any other questions, I can stay and ask. I'll just tell you. I'm just giving you advice now, right? Even though I have never practiced even one past paper questions alone, I make sure when I'm listening, when someone is teaching me, I'm a fast learner. That's obviously there. Okay. Apart from that, when someone is teaching me, I give the 100% attention, not 99%. Huh? I'm taking 100% attention. If you even ask me to repeat what you said, I can repeat. That much of attention I'll give you. My ears is very powerful. My eyes is very bad. My ears is very powerful. I can even each and every word of what you are speaking, but you I will able to grasp it. That's kind of it's when I have. Okay. So I will be all when someone is teaching me, I give 100% attention. Second thing what I'll do is I will understand it. So if you tell something to me, if I don't understand it, I'll again ask clarifications. Okay, so are you meaning like this? Did you do it like this, like this, like this? I'll make my own conclusion in my head. Okay, I will not make assumption. There's a difference between assumption and conclusion. Normally, when you're learning, never make assumptions. Learning means I'm not talking about self-learning. I'm talking about learning from a, let's say someone is teaching and learning. If someone is teaching and learning, never make assumptions on your own. Make conclusions. What I mean by conclusions, ask the teacher, okay, is this what you're meaning? Is this what you are trying to say? Is this what your final point is? Talk to the teacher and make a conclusion. Understand what the teacher is telling. Once you understand the teacher what is telling, this knowledge you get from here will last very long. Always understand something rather than by hearting or making your own assumption. Some other they make their own assumption. They're like, our teacher told like this, obviously it should be something like this. They make their own assumption, they go and blabber in the paper. And then they go and complain, no, my school teacher told like this, my tuition teacher told like this. But the fun fact is they said something else. You all misunderstood it. As humans, obviously, we could misunderstand. That's why whenever you're learning something, clarify from your lecture or whatever and make sure you have proper conclusion on what you learn. Third thing is practice. Fun fact, even though I didn't practice alone, in our schools, we did several questions. Several questions means in my school, I would have done before my IT exam, I would have done maximum 1 or 2 past papers. But apart from that, I did my school past papers during like my term exams. Not for always, I did not do anything. But if it was term exams, before the term test, I'm a last minute studying person. Okay, on the exam day, in the morning only I study. Not even one day before I don't study. Only maths and science, no. 1 day ahead. Other all subjects maximum 1 day ahead, but mostly I study on that day of the exam only. I study. I was overconfident. That's the biggest problem I had. Okay, not anything else. I was other party's overconfident person. That's why I'm saying not to repeat, but I did. Even though I got marks, that's a different story. What do you call? So what do you do is I practice. I just do the paper. Okay, blah, blah, blah. There's a way to do that paper. Also. You can't just directly do it. There's a way to do that paper. You have to do also correctly in that format. If you don't do in that format, then what do you call? You will not be able to score well marks. So you do practice as well. Then scoring marks is nothing. It's very jujupy. Okay. So even though I did not what do you call practice past papers, I was 100% good at my theory. On theory means not just the textbook theory. Because when the teacher is teaching, I give 100% attention and I try to understand stuffs. Second thing is I practice questions during the class. Now, for example, homeworks, I don't do homeworks at home. I do homeworks in school itself. Like I'm a lazy person. So interval, register marking, after school, before school, somehow, or in the school when somehow I just do all the homeworks. But I make sure I do the homework. I don't skip the homework. The only thing is I don't do the homework at home. I do the homework anywhere else, but not at home. That's what my pattern was. But I make sure I do it. So because I used to do all these stuffs, because I used to ask questions, all those stuffs, and clarify all those stuffs, learning was actually nothing big for me. I mean, like what you call any subject was not big for me. Okay, the problems I had now this is there. No, my environment had an issue in subjects that needed by heart. Now history is a subject you have to by heart. Okay, I was not able to score well. In Singhal, I got C only with Bhasha. Okay, that C is not even one literature. I would have run the short questions. Zero which are I think essay also I was lazy to write. Okay, so I don't like by hearting stuffs. That I had that issue with me. Okay, so because of that, even though I got a C, that my you can if you notice the marks I got the C for, it is not for Sahitya. It's only Bhasha. So if you ask your teachers, can you get only Bhasha C? They will say no. Because obviously, if you're getting C, your mark should be like very good at Bhasha. Unless you're very great at Bhasha, in Singhana, you can't get C for, without Sahitya, right? So I was very good at understanding stuff. I was very bad at by hearting stuff. That's how my pattern was. Okay. So because of that, because I had practiced several questions, because I had what do you call seen several what do you call other problems being solved, all those stuff. For me, solving a problem is very easy. Okay. Even programming, same thing happens because now for the last 3 years, I have been, I mean, in terms of programming, okay, in terms of programming, I have created several programs for the last 3 years, I guess. So my initial stage, I would have solved the problem differently, and now I might be solving the problem differently. The reason is because of the experience. Okay, that's the main. I always tell this method in the class, the cup method. Always, first of all, you have to concentrate in the class, then understand, and then practice. That's the correct method. Without understand theory, can we do practice? No. That's why I said you have to go follow the cup method. If you first of all you have to concentrate in the class and listen what the lecturer is telling everything, then you have to understand what the lecturer is telling. That's why I said conclusion. Then you have to practice. If you directly go for questions practice, you might be able to get a border marks, but you will not be able to get a proper marks. Or if the question structure change, the paper structure change, you will be messed up. That's why we say concentrate in the class first, understand the teacher saying, then you practice question. Don't directly go to practice question. Don't you get scolded from your parents for not studying? No. Why should I get scolded if my marks is good? You get scolded if you're not studying, only if your marks is bad. If your marks is good, then why should you get scolded? My marks is very good, so there was no need for them to scold me. That's the fact. That's how the formula worked. I'll tell you one of my friend. Okay, my friend's average marks was 97 out of how many subjects? Apart from the compulsory subjects, okay, apart from the compulsory subjects, we had a subject called effective speaking, effective speak, where every term we had to give a speech and public speech. And then we had for attendance, we had marks, and for sports, we had marks. Think a person got 97 average. What do you think that person's marks should have been in these 10 subjects? 10, 7, 9, 10, I think 10 or 11 subjects, 11 or 12 subjects. Out of 12 subjects, if your average is 97, imagine how that person's marks would have been. Okay. So if you take her, she doesn't go for any, she did not go for any classes, but okay. Not any class, most of the class, as I know, most of the class did not go, or what do you call, many class did not go. That she was not a person who go for tuition class much. Okay. But every day she used to practice, the what do you call, the extracurricular. Our school is compulsory to do extracurricular. You do two extracurriculars. One should be a physical, one should be a non-physical. That means one should be a sports and one should be a none. Like for example, I did badminton and I think I did badminton, swimming. For I did soccer. I did two physical actually. I did badminton, swimming, soccer. Mainly swimming, soccer I was doing, and for non-physical I was doing debating for a couple of time period. Then I was doing Scrabble. These was at my two. Okay, so I was swapping here and there for fun. But at the end of the day, what do you call? She was doing that. She used to stay for all extracurricular. She used to wait for all the athletics meets, all those stuff. She doesn't. Okay, she used to what do you call? What do you call, participate in all the events, and it's like competitions, all those stuff. Used to participate. Even though she was able to participate in all the events, perform in sports was very good. Her marks was 97. The reason is because not the fact about doing my past papers, the fact about doing any questions, all those stuff. The fact is that you concentrate in the class properly. First thing, understand what the teacher is saying. Third thing is a bit of revising. When you go home, just go through. Okay, today I learned these. Clear idea. And next week before coming for the class, revise. This last week I learned these stuff. Okay. If I'm saying 97 here, you can imagine her marks. Her marks are all the subjects 100 marks, 100 marks, 100 marks, 100 marks. Couple of subjects 99, 98, something like that. Okay, that kind of a person I'm talking about. Okay, and this is a person who doesn't live with a book. That's another fact. Now, some of you are there at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, all studying. Idiots. I don't know what to tell for you all. These are, I'm talking about people, a human. I'm not talking about idiots like y'all. Okay, because y'all don't know to time manage. Y'all think that just because y'all study at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, y'all can give. These, I'm talking about a person who is sleeping at around 9:30, 10 o'clock, who goes to bed by 10 p.m. Okay, and who wakes up at around 5 a.m. I'm talking about these kind of people, or 5, 6 o'clock, 5, yeah, around 5 o'clock, getting up, 9 to 10 p.m. when you sleep. I'm talking about these kind of people. I'm not talking about those unwanted studying or both always book. This is, I told you, this person participates in all the events, all competitions, all sports, everything. Okay, and this one sister was fun. She did Cambridge A levels as well as local A levels. She did both, and both she got highest. Both she got A's. Here in local A levels she got 4 A's. Local A levels she got 4 A's. In Cambridge A levels she got 5 A stars. She had to do 3 subjects. She did 5 A's, 5 subjects, and she got 5 A stars. That kind of person I'm talking about. Obviously, there is a bit of this one as well. There is a bit of what do you call, family background as well, but that is not main. Its main thing about is from small age, you have that practice of concentrating the class properly. Because I came across a video today actually. In that it was saying teachers don't teach. Okay, actually it's not like teachers should teach. Okay, it's not teachers should teach. Okay, so teachers don't teach. It is basically students should learn. Right. For example, when I'm going for the theory class, I'll tell you one thing. But at school, even I even Lyceum. Okay, when I'm going for class, I'll be honest with you, all, complete transparent. Okay, when I go for class, for example, let's you all are grade 11, so I take grade 11. I teach grade 11 in 3 places. In all 3 places, I don't teach in the same way. To be honest, it's not the same way. In one of the place, actually, yeah, in one of the place, the response I get when I ask questions or without asking questions, I get questions. Okay, the response I get in one of the places is very high. So when I get very high, like very good questions, like very no, some, what I mean by question is, so I do not understand, I do not understand, I do not understand. That is not what I mean by question. The question is something like, for example, if you did not understand how I got a count equals 100, your question should not be like, so I don't understand how you got A. Your question is like, so I got count equals, why isn't count less than or equal 100 correct? Or how is count and less than or equal 100? Your question will be specific. If you are listening to me from the beginning, always the question you ask will be specific. If you're a person who is not very concentrating, the last moment you were seeing somewhere else and suddenly you saw my board, you'll be like, I don't understand. Okay. To be honest, out of the 3 plays I teach in grade 11s, in to be one of the plays I give the highest, the amount of knowledge you'll get from is very high in one place. I'm not going to tell where. The place one, the amount of knowledge you get is very high. Second place is almost equal to high. This is also like if I'm giving here around, let's say 90% of knowledge, here I'm giving around 85% of knowledge, 88%, almost close. Like almost it's like 89% almost, very very small difference. But in one place I'm giving only 75% of the knowledge. The reason is because when I'm going to teach there, it's a response. The way you all are there in the class. When I'm seeing your faces, someone like, he, full nidagara mood. You all are in, like, for example, no questions, complete silent class. And it's like I'm teaching for my own self. There is no response. Okay, those actually online class is better than that. I mean, sorry, I got it out. Okay, so what do you call in such kind of scenarios when you don't get any response, you will not guess what is what. Okay, don't worry. Okay, if when I don't get any response, I can tell who is who, but it'll hurt all of you, so I don't want to tell it. Okay. So what do you call? There, I actually give the highest. I'm able to give here and all very good amount of knowledge compared to here. Okay. Ah, yes, correct. See, you are the person who taught guess it correctly. But yeah, okay, let me maybe transfer. I'm talking here. I'm talking about O here. I'm talking about M here. Sorry, W here. Okay. If you know, you know. So what do you call? The difference is mainly because of the response you get. Same thing in this paper class as well. For example, imagine the same paper class I did for the what do you call I did for y'all, and you all none of y'all were replying. None of y'all when I ask anything, no question, nothing. I will not be able to give the maximum effort. Okay. Y'all, normally I hear this question when I say I did not understand directly. Now there are certain parts I ask what you call instruction by instruction. For example, I might first of all tell you one part and I ask, did you understand this? Okay, did you understand this? I will be more specific. There, if you say no, practical. Okay, I asked the question there. But once I complete everything, in the medium parts, you don't ask. Okay, once I complete everything, you come and say, I didn't understand. Not only me, I'm saying all the teachers are that. Okay, they'll be like, what the hell, man? I asked piece by piece, did you understand this part, this part, this part? That then they did not tell they didn't understand. After I completed everything, they are saying they didn't understand. So that is where a teacher might get, what man killer, they'll get fed up. So don't make a teacher. I'm not telling me, I will even not get fed up because this class has several people who are replying. But what I'm saying is, if you want to get the maximum from a teacher, always make sure you give your maximum as well. If you are ready to learn, a teacher will be ready to teach. That's how it works. Okay, it's not about the student count. It is not about the count of students. It's about the amount of response. It's about the response. Okay, in each batch it's different. For example, in the grade 9, it's a grade 10, grade 11, grade 11.5. The response I got from the batches from which class was completely different. The more response, the more activeness you have in the class, the more activeness the lecturer can deliver to you. So if you want the best, I'm not talking about just classes, I'm talking about school as well. If you want to get the maximum from your school teacher, make sure you actually ask questions, clarify your doubts, all stuff. But again, there are pros and cons as well. Your teacher also should know the knowledge. If not, if you go and ask questions and the teacher does not know, halas. For example, I was in lecture. Okay, now university lecture. There was supposed to be 75 to 100 students. Okay, I think around 100 students should be there. That day only 3 students was there. But again, the class was so interesting because all 3 of us were asking so many questions and all those stuffs. Okay, I mean because we have something called batch fun. They jump the batch. Okay, so that's what, but that's not fun. I'm scared to ask questions sometimes. If that question is basic for this, don't be scared, man. Because in my class, if you laugh for someone else's question, you're out of the class. Expelled. Expelled. Not just temporary out, you're completely out of the class. That's how my class works. I give first time warning, second time expel. In my class, if you laugh for a fun person asking questions, that's how my physics online class you anyways can't notice it, but physical class, when someone is asking question, if another person looks at it and laughs or make fun of it, first time warning, second time expel. I'm a bit strict on those stuffs in rules and regulations. I mean, like laughs or mocks or whatever. I mean, for fun means as like for example, for teasing for fun, that's a different story. But for mocking purpose, like if you feel like okay, what man, this bugger does not know this C1 kill if you ask, then it's a case for. So you can't play the fool in my class anyways. So feel free to ask questions. If you feel like others will mock at you, I will take care of that. You don't have to worry about that. Anyways, with that, we're done for the day. I just gave an additional idea of what you call what how you should practice these program questions. Again, the more and more questions you do, the more and more perfect you become. So enjoy. And don't be like a say book studies 24/7. Don't be like that. Just do everything with vasati. What do you call that? Moderate. You got trauma. Is that you're strict about that stuff? No. I have not got trauma. I give trauma. The class is super useful. Thank you. Exactly. Balancing. If I have any questions, I can stay and ask. Others, if you are good with everything, you can actually leave because we're done with that. Most probably people are thinking that I'm doing all this again. They didn't even notice that you have come in. Yes, Shakir. I got 2 3 messages. That means they're jobless people are messaging you also. I mean, just going through the chat and saying, still laughing. Okay, fine. I'm going to end the meeting. Have a nice day. Bye bye. I feel like I should never advise y'all, man, because I'm giving too many advices for these days. I feel like y'all might ignore my future advices if I give you too much advice like this. The ratio is very too much. Good, good, good. Okay, bye bye. I'm going to end the meeting. Have a nice day. Enjoy.